children, welcome to grade 7 mathematics classroom. Today we are going to talk about the 29th lesson in your mathematics textbook, that is likelihood of an event occurring. So now quickly take out your mathematics textbook part 2 and turn to page number 152. There you can find the lesson. Right. Before moving to the lesson, I thought of telling you which competencies you are going to complete by learning this lesson. The competencies you are going to cover is analyzes the likelihood of an event occurring to predict future events. Under the competency level is groups events based on the likelihood of occurrence, decides on the nature of an experiment related to an event. Right. Now we will get to know what you are going to learn by studying this lesson. By studying this lesson, you will be able to identify the events that definitely occur, the events that definitely do not occur, and the events that occur randomly. Then you will learn how to describe the outcomes of an experiment. Right. Can you see the figure in this slide? What can you see here? Here there is a waterfall and you can see the sun, the rising sun. Are there any clouds? Yes, it has. So there are several events. So today we are first of all going to talk about the events. Right. We'll discuss some events. Right. First one is touch fire, you will burn. Is that true? When you touch fire, will you get burnt? Yes, it is. So we will take another one, jump and you will touch the ground. Is that true? Is that happens? Once again, yes it is. It always happens. Then we will take another one, the sun rising from the east. Once again that is also happen in each and every time. You will be wet if you fell into water. Isn't that so? You will be wet if you go under the rain or if you fell into water. So we can say all the events shown above are events that would definitely occur. So we can categorize these events as the events that would definitely occur. Right. Once again move on to another set of events. We'll see. First one, a piece of iron floating on water. Will it happen? Can you float a piece of iron on water? I'm having doubts. Can you? We'll see. Second one, getting coconut from a jack tree. If you plant a jack tree, can you get a coconut? It would never happen. So we'll go for the third one. Age of grade 7 student is 5 years. Now all of you are in grade 7. Is your age equals to 5 years? No, that is also an event which would never happen. Right. Next one, the sun rising from the north. Once again, we all know that in each and every day, the sun would rise from the east. So sun rising from the north is also wrong. Therefore, we can say all the events shown above are the events that definitely do not occur. Right. Now we have discussed on two types. So I'll get some more examples on events and Can you say the answer for these also? We'll see. First one, rain occurs this afternoon. The rain may occur or it may not. Isn't that so? Can you exactly say whether it's going to rain today? No. Isn't that so? Therefore, we can't exactly say what would happen in the afternoon. It may rain or it may not. So, the next one, a tossed coin lands heads up. Right. When you toss a coin, there are two sides in a coin. So, you might get heads up or you might get tails up. So, you can't exactly say what you are going to obtain. Isn't that so? So, the next one, winning a lottery. You can buy lotteries, but you can't exactly say whether you are going to win the lottery or not. Next one, the vehicle arrives next will be a car. Think you are going to be stand near your house and look for the vehicles arrived, which the vehicles goes through your place. You are searching for a car. So, can you exactly say you are going to have a vehicle next which arrives near your house? No, you can't exactly say. It may be a car, it may be a lorry, it may be a bicycle. You can't exactly say which vehicle is going to arrive. So, we can say the occurrence of these above events cannot be certain. Now, the occurrence of these above events cannot be certain. Therefore, we have a special name for these events, that is what we call the random events. Right? So, all these events can be classified under three types. First one, the events would definitely occur. Second one, the events which would definitely not occur. And the third one is the random events. So, here we classify these events according to its likelihood. So, once again, according to the likelihood, we can classify the events as the events which would definitely occur, the events which would definitely not occur, finally, the random events. Right. We'll take each of the events now. Right. First of all, we are going to talk about the events which definitely occur. That means we know the outcome of the event. That means we know that the event is going to happen. So, as we got the events in the previous slide, so when we touch fire, you will obviously burn your hand. When you fell into water, you will be obviously wet. When you jump up, you will obviously touch the ground. And obviously, the sun would rise from the east in each and every day. So, these are some of the events that would definitely occur. So, now we will talk about the events that would definitely not occur. Right. We will go through some of the events which would definitely not occur. First one, a piece of iron floating on water. The piece of iron would never float on water. Next, when you plant a jack tree, you would never get a coconut from that tree. So, it is once again an event that would definitely not occur. Then, once again, a grade 7 student can't be 5 years old. And as we have discussed, sun always rise from the east. Therefore, sun rising from the north also is an event that would definitely not occur. Right. Then we will get the random events. First one, rain occurring this afternoon. As I have told you before, we can't be exact on the result. Isn't that so? It might rain this afternoon or it might not. Therefore, we can't be exact on the result. Therefore, rain occurring this afternoon is also a random event. A tossed coin lands heads up. So, now we are going to check whether this is a random event or not. If it is a random event, what would happen? If it is not a random event, what would happen? It should be definitely occur or definitely not occur. But if it is a random event, always you can't say the exact outcome you are going to get. Right. Now we are going to check whether tossing a coin is a random event or not. So, for that, I am going to do a small experiment. So, I am inviting Shenara to join our mathematics classroom to help us. Right. Come, Shenara. Right. Here, I am having a coin. I am going to toss this coin. Right. Here, I have two sides of the coin, head and tail. Right. Now, which side do you want?
I want tail.
Okay. You ask for tail, then I'll go for head. Right. Now, I'll toss the coin and can you toss the coin for me?
Okay.
So, we'll see whose side going to come. Here we got head. That means there I won. Isn't that so? Somehow I might get head or tail. Therefore, it's okay. Shall we do the experiment once again? This time, which side do you want? Head or tail? Once again, it's tail, or you need to change the side?
I want head.
Okay. You can have head. Okay. Can you toss it once again for me?
Okay.
Right. Once again, we got head. This time, you won. Isn't that so?
Yes.
But we might get tail also, because this coin is made up of only one metal. Therefore, the experiment is a random experiment. We might get head or tail. Right. Thank you very much, Puta. I'll ask you to come for some more experiments. Right. Now, we got that tossing a coin is a random experiment. So, next one is winning a lottery. Right. We can buy so many lotteries, but all the times we are not going to win. Isn't that so? Randomly, we can win a lottery. Therefore, it's also a random event. Then, next one, the vehicle arrives. Next will be a car. As I have mentioned before, when you observe for the next vehicle to be arrived, you might get a car or a lorry or a three-wheeler. So, arriving a car is a random event. Right. Now, we are going to talk about some events. Here, you have to say whether these events belongs to the types of events which would definitely occur, or the types of events that would definitely not occur, or the random events. So, we will move on to the first one. Here, what can you say in the picture? Yes, it is a rising sun. So, the event sun rising on tomorrow. What can you say? Is it a random event, or an event which would definitely occur, or an event which would definitely not occur? Yes, you are true. That is an event which would definitely occur, because we know sun would obviously rise tomorrow. So, we will go for another event. Right. What can you see here? I can see some stars. We'll see what the event is. Appearing full moon on the new moon day. Can you see the full moon on the new moon day? No, you can't. Isn't that so? So, what is the type that the event belongs to? That is an event which would definitely not occur. So, we'll move on to another event. Appearing a full moon on the half moon day. That is also an event which would definitely not occur. In half moon day, you won't get a full moon. Isn't that so? Next one. A stone thrown at a mango tree hitting a mango. Now, this tree is full of mangoes. You are going to throw a stone, get a mango, right? But have you done it at home? There, what was the result? In each and every case, would you be able to get the mangoes? No, it's not. Sometimes you might get mangoes, sometimes you will miss. Isn't that so? Therefore, we can say it's a random event. Next one. Here in the picture, we can see there's a girl standing in the rain with an umbrella. Isn't that so? So, we are talking about the event of rain occurs this afternoon. So, can you say the result exactly? No, isn't that so? You can't say whether it's going to rain this afternoon or not. Therefore, it's again a random event. Right. Here, look at the picture carefully. What can you say there? It's raining, isn't that so? And by looking at the windows, you can say there is a wind. So, what is our event? Wind occurs with rain tomorrow. So, can you predict it? Can you say it beforehand whether it's going to have a heavy rain with wind tomorrow? No, isn't that so? You might have a heavy rain with wind or you might not. Therefore, once again, it's a random event. Right. Then the next event. Here, you can see forerunners. Isn't that so? We have names for those forerunners. Lahiru, Samantha, Sithira and Supun. Now, this is the 1500 meter race under 20 years category. Now, the event is Samantha becomes first among the competitors Lahiru, Supun, Sathira and Samantha in 1500 meters race under 20 years category. Right. Now, can you say whether Samantha is going to win or not? You can't say beforehand. You have to watch the race first, then only you can say who's going to win. Isn't that so? Therefore, once again, it's a random event. Right. Now, what is here? I can see a bouncing ball. Isn't that so? So, my event is a ball which is lifted and released falling downwards. If you lift a ball and release it, what would happen? It would surely come down. So, it's an event that would definitely occur. Right. Here I can see some balls in this spin wheel. Right. Now, my event is selecting a ball which has number 5. Right. We have to do the experiment and obtain the outcome and check whether the number 5 is going to come or not. Beforehand, we can't predict the outcome. We can say all the outcomes, but we can't exactly say what would happen as the result. Therefore, it's again a random event. Right. Now, here we can see a batsman. So, my event is the cricketer getting out in the next ball. Right. But here also we can't exactly say whether the cricketer is going to out in the next ball or not. Isn't that so? We can't predict. Therefore, once again it's a random event. Next one, the cricketer scoring 6 runs. Right, just have a look at this video. Okay, what has happened there? Right, by looking at the first few seconds of the video, you may have thought, okay, the cricketer is going to get 6 runs. But at last what happened? The cricketer got out. Isn't that so? So, this is a very good example for telling you that the cricketer scoring 6 runs is a random event. Right. Here, my next event is water flowing upwards. Can it happen? It would definitely not occur. Isn't that so? Then the next one, a stone which is lifted and released floating in the sky. Can a stone float in the sky? No, it would never occur. Therefore, that's an event that definitely not occur. Next one, the train arrives sharp scheduled time. The train arrives at the sharp scheduled time. So, can it happen? It might happen and or it might not. Therefore, it's again a random event. Now, what can you see in this video? Just have a look at the video. It's about the tsunami disaster. So, tsunami occurring tonight, that is my event. So, can you predict that? Once again, you can't predict it. So, it's once again a random event. Next one, the next page turned in the mathematics book being a prime number. Right. Once again, you can't say, but it might be a prime number or it might not. Therefore, once again, it's a random event. Our next event is getting a red ball when take out a ball without looking at the box. Right, now here I am having a box full of balls. I am going to get a red ball without looking at the box. So, now once again it's a random event. Isn't that so? You might get a red ball or you might not. So, we are going to do it as an experiment now. So, I am inviting Shenara once again to our classroom to help me to this experiment. Now, here I am having few beads. I have got 6 beads here, red, yellow, black, green, white and blue. I am going to place these beads in a box and I am not going to show her the box. I won't allow her to look at the colors of the beads and I am asking her to take one bead out of this box. So, we will see. Now, Shenara, you need to get one bead out of this box, but you cannot look at the beads in here, right? Before that, I have beads in 6 colors. Which color do you want?
I want green color.
You want green one. Okay, I'll say you might get the white one. So, I am asking for white, you are telling green, isn't that so?
Okay.
So, without looking at the box, can you take one bead? Right. Who won?
I have green color one.
Yes, you got the green color
One.
one. Okay, shall we do it once again? This time, what is the color you want to get?
I want blue color one.
Okay, then I'll go for the yellow color one.
Okay.
Right. Now, you can't look at the beads.
Okay.
Right. Once again, you got the green color one. Isn't that so? So, this time, neither you nor me won. Right. Now, you can see this is a random event. So, thank you, Shenara. Then we will move on to the next event. A tortoise flies in the sky. Can a tortoise fly? No, definitely no. Therefore, it's an event that definitely not occur. Right. Now, we'll move on to an exercise. Quickly read the exercise. Write down whether each of the events given below is an event which definitely occurs, an event which definitely does not occur, or a random event. So, under the exercise, we will go for the first event. First one is sun sets from west. What do you say? To which category does it belongs to? Yes, you were correct. That is an event that would definitely occur. The sun would definitely set from the west. Okay, we will move on to the next event under the exercise. Heavy stone floats on water. Can a heavy stone floats on water? No, it can't. Therefore, it belongs to the events that definitely would not occur. Right. Then we will move on to the third one under the same exercise. Jump and you will touch the ground. If you jump, you would obviously touch the ground. Therefore, it belongs to the events which would definitely occur. Under the same exercise, I am going to go for the fourth part, that is getting a side which is red after rolling a red regular die. Here the complete die is in color of red. Therefore, obviously, you have to obtain a side which is in red color. Therefore, that is an event which would definitely occur. So, we will move on to the fifth part of the same exercise. Team A wins in a football match between Team A and Team B. If there is a football match between two teams, obviously one of the teams have to win, but we can't exactly say who's going to win. Therefore, Team A wins is a random event. Therefore, Team A wins is a random event. Right. Now, the sixth one. Getting a yellow ball from a bag which has only yellow balls. Now, here I have got a bag, it has only yellow balls. So, obtaining a yellow ball would definitely happen. Isn't that so? Therefore, it belongs to the events which definitely occur. Right. So, now here I have got some rubber seeds in my box. Here, have a look at these seeds. Right. Now, I am going to randomly take one seed out of this and we will see what I am going to get. Okay, I am not looking at the seeds. I am going to randomly take one out of it. Obviously, it is a rubber seed. Isn't that so? When I take one seed out of some rubber seeds, obviously I would get a rubber seed. Therefore, that is an event that would definitely occur. Right. What is this? Leaves move due to wind. Right. In the figure also you can see some leaves are moving. Isn't that so? Right. Now, if there is wind, obviously leaves move. Therefore, it's an event that would definitely occur. Next one, Malintha receives marks more than 75 in this term test. Right. So, Malintha might get marks more than 75 or Malintha might not. Therefore, once again, it's a random event. So, we will move on to another question under the same exercise. Right. This is question number 2. So, first we will read the question. The faces of a die numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. The die is rolled once. Write down whether each of the events given below is an event which will definitely occur, an event which will definitely not occur, or a random event. Right. Once again, we'll see first one, obtaining 8. Okay, here I'll show you a die. Now, this is a die numbered from 1 to 6. Isn't that so? Now, here I have numbers from 1 to 6. So, if I roll this die, can I obtain number 8? No, I can't. Why? I don't have number 8 in my die. Therefore, it's an event which would definitely not occur. Then the second one, obtaining an even number. Once again, have a look at our die. There, I told you I have numbers from 1 to 6. Therefore, we have got 3 even numbers. So, once we have rolled this, you might get even numbers or you might get odd numbers. Therefore, obtaining an even number is a random event. Next one, obtaining 4. In my regular die, I have got 4. Isn't that so? Therefore, I might get 4 when I roll this regular die or I might not. Therefore, once again, it's a random event. Right. Obtaining number which is less than 7. Right. Once again, I have numbers from 1 to 6 in my regular die. Therefore, obviously, I might obtain a number which is less than 7. Therefore, I can say it's an event that would definitely occur. Right. We'll move on to another question. This is question number 3. Right. Quickly we'll read the question. In a school having 700 students, a prefect is chosen by the votes of all the students. Nalin and Chatura have been proposed for this position. So, the first part is find the least number of votes that Nalin must get if he is to become the prefect. Right, there are 700 students and 2 students are fighting for the position of a prefect and all the students are going to vote for them. Right. Now, here we want to find how many students, at least how many students Nalin have to take to become a prefect. Right. Now what should you do? There are 2 students who are in the fight. Therefore, altogether there are 700 students. When you divide the 700 by 2, it is 350. So, 350 is the half of the number of students. So, one more than that number of votes should be taken by Nalin to become a prefect. Therefore, 350 plus 1 is 351 votes. So, Nalin should get 351 votes to become a prefect. Right. Now, the second part. Will a prefect always be elected through this method? Is that a successful method? No, it is not. Why is that? Right, because there are 700 students. So, if 350 students give votes to Nalin and the other 350 students give votes to the other student, then what would happen? Can you select a prefect? No, isn't that so? Therefore, this is not a successful way of finding a prefect, electing a prefect. Right. Now we are going to talk about experiments and outcomes. Now I think you are thorough with the events. So here we will learn how to get the experiments and outcomes out of the events. Right? Okay. Now let's find out the outcomes of these experiments. First one, the first commuter getting down from the bus is a woman. That is an event, isn't that so? So we have to break it into 2 parts, the experiment and the outcome. So what is the experiment here? So the experiment is observing whether the first commuter getting down from the bus is a woman or a man. That is the experiment. Now, what would be the outcomes? So, the outcomes would be either a woman or a man. Right, we will take another one. A tossed coin landing tails up. Once again, that is an event. So, we will break it into experiments and outcomes. So, here the experiment is observing the side that lands up when a coin is tossed. So, the outcomes are head or tail. We will next move on to the likelihood of obtaining each of the possible outcomes of an experiment. There, let's examine the nature of each of the experiments given. Right? So, some experiments are here. We are going to examine the nature of the experiments. Now, this is the first one. We will see what the experiment is. The faces of a regular die are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. The die is rolled once and the number is observed on the face that turns up. Write down the outcomes. Right. Now, here we have got a die. Once again, it is numbered from 1 to 6. So, we need to know what the outcomes of these experiments are. So, what would you see? Yes, you might get 1, you might get 2, you might get 3, you might get 4, you might get 5 or you might get 6. So, these are the outcomes of the experiment of rolling a regular die numbered from 1 to 6. So, we will go for another experiment. A coin is tossed once and the side that lands up is observed. Right. Now, as we have done in the previous experiment, you might obtain head or you might obtain tail. So, next experiment. Observing the number of the cards which is getting after taking one card from the card set without looking. Now, here I have got 5 cards numbered from 1 to 5. Now, which card would I take? Which card would I get if I take one card out of these 5 cards without looking? I might get card 1 or card 2 or card 3 or else card 4 or else I might get card 5. Right. Next experiment. Marking the attendance of the students. Now, each and every day after the first period, your teacher is marking the attendance of the students in your class. Isn't that so? So, when she pronounces a name, she can mark whether the student is present or the student is absent. So, those two are the outcomes of the experiment, marking the attendance of the students. Next one. The faces of a regular die are valued 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. The die is rolled once and observe the value on the face that turns up. Right. Here I have got a die which you use in several sports. Right. If I roll this, what would happen? I might obtain 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or else I might get 6. So, these are the outcomes. Right. Then the next one, observing the color of the ball by taking a ball from the box without looking at the box. Right. Now, there is a box and the box is with 4 balls. So, if you get one ball out of it without looking at the color, you might get a red ball or a blue ball or a green ball or a purple ball. Next one. The faces of a regular tetrahedron are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4. The faces of a regular tetrahedron are numbered 1, 2, 3 and 4. The tetrahedron is rolled once and the number on the face that turns downwards is observed. Now, this is the regular tetrahedron that we are talking about. Here, can you see? We have numbered it from 1 to 4. Right. When you roll this regular tetrahedron, I might obtain 1, 2, 3 or 4. So, those are the outcomes of this experiment. So, the next one, observing the number of the part that the arrow stops when rotate the disc, which is divided into 6 equal parts and numbered as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here, you might get 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. Right. Now, here I have got a similar spin wheel. So, I am going to once again invite my student to come here to help me in this experiment. Right. Now, what is the color that you would like?
I like purple color.
Right, you like purple color. I am going to spin the wheel. Now, the arrow is here. We will see whether you are going to get the color you want or not. Here we got yellow. Here we got yellow. Right? Okay, then this time I will tell you a color. I want light blue. This one. So, can you spin the wheel for me? it's a narrow miss, isn't that so? I got pink, right. So, thank you very much once again, Puta. So, here it's a random experiment. So, I got 2 different answers in 2 different times. So, now we have done the experiment. So, now there are 2 types of experiments we have to talk about. In experiments, we use different types of objects. Some of the objects are biased objects and some of the objects are unbiased objects. So, we have to know what the biased objects and the unbiased objects are. Right. Now, here when I consider about this coin is made up of the same metal. That means both sides of the coin consist of the same metal. Therefore, I can consider this coin as an unbiased coin. That means a fair coin. But when I consider about this die, is it a fair one? No, it is not. Why? What can you say about the area of these sides? It's different, isn't that so? Here, these 2 sides has a larger area, and what about the other sides? The area of these sides are less than the previous 2 sides. Therefore, this can be considered as a biased object or as an unfair object. Right. So, we will call if each of the outcomes of an experiment is equally likely to occur, then the object used in the experiment is called a fair or an unbiased object. But if each of the outcomes of an experiment is not equally likely, then you can say the objects that you have used in the experiment are biased objects, or as you can say unfair objects. Right. We will quickly move on to some exercises. First one, we will read the exercise first. For each experiment below, write the set of outcomes and write down whether the experiment is carried out using a biased object or an unbiased object. Right. The first one is a coin is tossed once and the side that lands up is observed. Right. When you toss a coin, all the outcomes are equally likely to occur. You might get head or you might get tail. Therefore, we can say here we have used an unbiased object or a fair object. Second one, a coconut shell similar to the one in the figure is tossed once and the side that lands up is observed. Right. Now, this 2 sides of the coconut shell is not equal. So, you might get the outcomes as the shell lands up or the shell lands down. There are 2 sides in this, 2 outcomes in this experiments. Still, the possibility of obtaining the 2 outcomes is not equally likely. Therefore, we can say the coconut shell is a biased object or an unfair object. Third one, the faces of a cuboid are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. The cuboid is rolled once and the number on the face that turns upward is observed. That is the cuboid that we were talking about previously. Right. Now, this is the cuboid that we were discussed previously. That is the same cuboid mentioned in this experiment. Here we have numbered the 6 sides from 1 to 6, but as I have mentioned you previously, the area of each side is not equal. So, we will see what would happen. So, the area of the faces are not equal. Therefore, the cuboid is not a fair object, or else we can say it is a biased object. Right. The fourth one. Observing the number of the part that the arrow stops when rotate the disc, which is divided into 8 equal parts and numbered from 1 to 8. Right. Now, we are going to spin this wheel. Right. So, I might obtain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7 or 8. Here, all the outcomes are equally likely to occur. Therefore, we can say this is a fair object. Right. The next experiment, observing the color of the part that the arrow stops when rotate the disc, which is divided into 6 equal parts and colored in red, orange, yellow, green, blue and purple. Here we are going to spin this wheel and we might obtain red, orange, yellow, green, blue or purple. Right. All the outcomes are equally likely to occur. Therefore, we can say this is a fair object or else an unbiased object. Right. The next one. Observing the color of the part that the arrow stops when rotate the disc, which is divided into 4 parts which are not equal and colored in red, green, orange and purple. Right. This time the parts are not equal. Therefore, we can say when you rotate this, there is a more possible to obtain blue. Therefore, we can say all the outcomes are not equally likely. That means this is an unfair object or a biased object. Next one, a coin with one side made of aluminium and the other side of copper, where the quantities of aluminium and copper used are equal, is tossed once and the side that lands up is observed. Here the coin is made up of 2 different metals. So, when we talk about the density of these metals, what can you say? The densities are different. Therefore, the outcomes are not equally likely. So, you can say this coin is not a fair object or else it is a biased object. So, if an experiment is carried out using an unbiased object or a fair object, then the outcome is always equally likely. If the experiment is carried out using an unfair object or a biased object, then the experiment is always not equally likely. Right. Now, before winding up the lesson, I thought of summarize the lesson with you. That means the things you have learned today. So, we will quickly go through the things we have learned today. First, we talked on the events which definitely occur, the events which would definitely not occur and the random events. Then, we have learnt how to categorize the events into 2 parts as the experiments and the outcomes. Finally, we have discussed on the object we are using in the events or in the experiments. So, the objects can be in 2 different types, biased objects and unbiased objects. If you are using unbiased objects, always the outcomes are equally likely. Right. Now, these are the things that we have learned today. Now, it is time for you to do the homework. So, in unit 29, you have got some exercises. So do those exercises as the homework. If you have missed the lesson, or else if you want to go through the same lesson once again, you can watch this lesson through Channel NIE YouTube channel. Right. So that's it for today. I hope to see you soon with another lesson. Right. Take care. Thank you.